Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to another live stream. I'm very pleased to be sharing the virtual studio with my dear friend Stephanie Mitchell Hughes. Now, most of you will know her, being as she represents something called Resilience 2.0, which is a process where she's been through a number of hard places to get to where she is. Through that, she's learned a lot about herself through long COVID, through workplace bullying, through just dealing with life, and has come out the other side and has a number of views on the way in which people, whether they be women, whether they be black or otherwise, are dealt with in modern society and specifically in the legal profession. Now, with that said, we're doing something interesting today. And in the past, some of you remember we've reacted to a couple of different videos and we've talked about them afterwards. When was this video made, Stephanie?
Oh my goodness. 2013.
Wow.
Yeah, 12 years ago. It'll be 12 years of this October.
Oh, wow. Well, all I can say is that it still bears witness in many ways. It's 5 minutes where we'll watch it together and then we're going to react to it. And it is Stephanie doing a TEDx. Now, before we get into it, what was the thrust of your TEDx? What was the general direction?
So the thrust of it was what I learned. What I learned it took me 7 years to learn. And it is really, to me, the crux and the essence of resilience. And so what I talk about is what are oftentimes referred to as valley experiences.
Okay.
Of how I had to learn how to navigate a very, very hard place. And the reason that I wanted to do this today is because of the climate, the current climate that we're in. People are, at least here, continue to be out of sorts, feeling very chaotic, feeling extremely unnerved, anxiety ridden, all of that. And there are a lot of videos being made of, when is this going to be over? I can't take this. This chaos is too much. On and on and on. And it really made me think about this talk, the talk that I gave, because the thing that I learned through a lot of bumping of my head, trying to figure out how to get comfortable, trying to climb out, trying to avoid this, avoid that. The only way forward was through. I had to go through that valley. You know, I had to do the work that I was purposed to do in that valley.
Right.
And the reason that I also want to talk about this is because the one thing that I get is a real sense of powerlessness that people are feeling right now, and feeling despondent because it seems like there is so little that they can control. We now have corporations announcing layoffs of 25,000 people, 80,000 people,
Right.
all of these things. And
it's nuts, isn't it? When you think about
right,
it.
it seems as if there's like this recklessness in the air. Things seem to be fine, and now they're just being ripped apart. And people are thinking, well, I'm not going to be affected by this. And then they find out that they are. And so I think that there's not a lot I can do to control. I can't control much of what happens in the world, but right. I can control the way that I choose to respond to it. And I can also step back and ask myself what this is sent to teach me. What is it sent? Because the thing that I learned, and again, it took me a long time to learn it because I'm hard-headed and because I insisted upon going in my own way. And I couldn't go the way that I wanted to go.
Okay.
So that's what this is about. And hopefully people can take something from it.
Okay, so this was a TEDx talk uh, sponsored by Cardinal Health.
Hmm.
I'm just going to get that going for us now.
I can't hear. Can you hear?
Probably not. I better probably. There we go.
Oh, okay.
I want to go back in time a little bit to February the 16th, 2006. I was 43 years old. I had two children, ages 12 and 7, one of whom was in a Cinderella costume, and $120 in empty refrigerator, and 2 months of outstanding mortgage payments. At that particular point in time, my marriage had fallen apart, and I was on my road to divorce. Now, I'm not here to talk about my divorce. I'm not here to talk about why my marriage failed. I am here to talk about where I found myself at that particular point in time.
Right.
A divorce is a sea changing experience.
Mm,
And initially, I thought that I would come roaring back because I had graduated from Spelman College. I had graduated from law school. I had attended graduate school. I had all of the necessary professional and educational credentials to really put my life back together. So I jumped on my proverbial bike, started pedaling as fast and as furiously as I could towards what I believed would be a short journey towards building a new life for myself and for my children. But what I quickly realized was that I really had no sense of awareness of who I was at that time. I also could not hear my own inner voice. I had seemingly lost touch with that. And what I did not know and understand was that I was in a valley. Valleys are often viewed with fear and trepidation. However, I would submit that a valley can come for different reasons and for different purposes. In this particular instance, the purpose of my valley was for healing. My valley, in terms of the way it would be physically described, was deep and it was wide. And it had, if you can imagine, a pottery barn soup bowl, smooth sides. And the floor was littered with broken and winding paths. And the broken and winding paths symbolized the sense of brokenness that I had within myself. My valley had a long stream down the middle.
right.
And what I tried to do was I tried to initially treat my
So to me,
Hmm.
right, valleys represent trepidation, not because they're the lowest point, but
Hmm.
because I know I'm going to have to go up the other side. And if you're describing the sides of those valleys as something that's exceptionally smooth and hard to get a grip on, that
Hmm.
also fills me with trepidation. Huh?
Right.
Right.
Right, right. Because
Uh,
we all, because this is the way that we live, I think now, Gareth, like just out of control children who have eaten entirely too much candy. We just think that, I mean, we're just like, we've eaten entirely too, it's Girl Scout cookie season here in the United States. And I'm telling you, everybody including me, yours truly, has completely lost their minds.
all right,
And
all right.
so we just think it,
I'm gonna say to you, we don't
mhm.
have a Girl Scout cookie season here, so the fact you have a season for it also fills me with fear. Let's crack on.
valley
Yeah.
like it was a NASCAR pit stop. Roll in, retool, gas up, keep going. But no, couldn't do it that way. I tried very hard to climb up my smooth walls, couldn't do it that way, but only to fall back down flat on my back. And what I realized was that the broken and winding paths that I saw contained the lessons that I needed to learn to move on to whatever it was that was destined for me. But first, I had to do the work. I had to be willing to allow myself to be pruned. I had to be willing to allow myself to have fear and anger and unforgiveness and anguish and bitterness removed. Because you see, I had started to wear those things. I had layers and layers and layers of all
Yeah,
of those
like a
things
badge.
that I wore like a comfortable coat. And they had to go because I couldn't keep carrying all of that. It kept me in bondage. And I also had to allow those things to be replaced with kindness and goodness and forbearance and with self control. I had to allow those things to happen. And so, in terms of what the work that I did in my sojourn there, I had to allow those things to be removed, and they were surgically removed. And was it hard? Oh, yes, absolutely. Was it? It was difficult. Was it painful? Oh, yes, it was very painful, but it was very necessary. Why do I continue to talk about valley experiences? Why is that important? I talk about them for one primary reason. I believe that in life, we never learn lessons just for ourselves and for our own benefit. I learn them because I have a responsibility to pass those lessons along to someone else. I also learned them and talk about this as a means and a way of encouraging other people. You see, I do not believe that in life we get a free pass. If there is hard work to be done, if there's a lesson that's to be learned, it's only going to keep boomeranging back until you do the work. So the sooner you do it, the less of pruning has to happen, the less baggage that you have to carry.
Yeah.
And the sooner you can walk in to whatever it is that is destined for you in freeness and in liberty.
Whoa. True
I
that.
very rarely watch myself say anything on
No, but you
recording.
know,
or
no,
listening
no,
to
no. Okay, just gonna cut this down to the quick. You basically said unless you throw off the old shit that hangs around you like an albatross, then you're
Mhm.
never going to be able to move forward because it drags you down. You can't climb anything if you've got 100 weight of shit hanging around your neck. You've got to
Right.
throw it off.
Yeah,
And
it's got to be surgically cut off and removed. And the
but in
thing
your
that,
case,
Mhm.
that's not just simply negativity. That's negative feelings about yourself, self-worth. Also, that's probably anger at other people too. Because if you're
Right. I mean,
angry and
yeah,
bitter and twisted and full of hate.
right, exactly. And the thing is that there were a couple of things that were so in that so let me kind of give a little bit, a small, teeny, tiny nugget of what happened in preparation to do a TEDx talk. At least that was mine. So I had the great fortune of working with Ruth Milligan, who was, along with her partner, not her, who, along with her partner in crime, they were the ones who got the first license to do the TEDx Columbus. And so Ruth Milligan owns an organization, a company called Articulation, and she is an excellent speech person and coach. She's a speech coach.
Right.
And the thing that she said to me really shaped what, at the very beginning, shaped what I said. And the thing is, she said to me, she said, "This is your story. It's not anybody else's story. It's not anybody else's experience. And so if it is my story, what I have to do is look at myself and become very self-aware of what I was doing, what my part is, and
Yeah.
what is it that I need to do, not somebody else, not who broke my heart, not I can't stand this person. It is not about that. The experience is for me, and it's a tough experience, but it is what can I do now that this has happened to be better? And what is it that I need to learn? What is it that I need to let go of? Because I'm telling you, Gareth, and we've had this conversation time and again.
Yep.
People are literally, and I can't talk about anybody because I'm just as bad as they are, but you do not want to spend your life driving your all of your issues with you around in a U-Haul. You don't want to spend your life carrying crap on your back. I had so much stuck to me that it had to be surgically removed. I needed like major scissors and surgery in order to get it all done. But I needed, but the thing is that at some point, I'm going to move past and move through this. And I'm going to get on the other side. But if I'm going to get on the other side, I have got to stop and pay attention and take the time to learn the lessons. And so there's not a lot when we are in this moment that seems so chaotic and so confusing and so scary and unnerving. And it could be all of those things.
Right.
It's not that I'm sitting up here going, I'm just filing my fingernails, waiting for this all to pass. It's going to be fine. No, I have my moments just like everybody else. But I have to look at what I can do about the situation and my circumstances. And if this is my season to go through a valley, I'm going to look at what that valley is, and I need to pay attention so that I can learn the lessons so that I do not have to spend 40 years marching around in the same circle, complaining about eating manna and wanting to go back to where I came from, because now all of a sudden that just looks so appealing. It looks like Disney World. Wow. I left a toxic waste dump, but because I'm frustrated, because I don't feel as if I've made any progress, I look back, and looking back looks like a Disney World. Now, when I can't go back, I've got to move forward.
You got to move forward, because the quickest way to nullify any efforts of self-growth is to continuously be looking over your shoulder. That's the way to mute it.
So it's tough. It is tough.
I never thought Stephanie Mitchell Hughes would admit to being a valley girl. But anyway, moving on. I thought you'd enjoy that one.
Okay, so that's it. I'm off my soapbox now.
No,
if it helps somebody, go back and look at it. It's on YouTube.
No. It's cool. And what I'll do is once this is out, I'm going to put a link back to the YouTube. So if anybody wants to take another look at it, it's 5 minutes viewing time, but it's very good. What I would say is this: your valley wasn't all smooth sides. I just don't think you knew where to look to find the path. And I think, you did the work, you got rid of the crap, you found the path, and now you're on your way upwards. Right. The only caveat I'll give you is make sure you don't go from one bowl into another bowl. But anyway, so
now I think that at this point, Gareth, going forward, because of the age that we're in right now, and the season that we're in right now, it is all rugged and rough. There's no it is thick out here. It is dark. There's no smooth anywhere. It's all broken, and the sides are definitely rough.
Yeah. It's like when I described the way things are going on. It's like I describe it like an old Windows PC. There are 64 windows open. One of them's flashing away like a crazy thing, and I've got no idea where the sound's coming from. But
I mean,
that's pretty much what it is.
Yep, exactly. We're just
but this lady from Spelman and this guy from London wants to tell you all that there is hope. We just got to keep pushing through, because as the name of today's podcast is, the only way is through. Right. And on that note, I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for Stephanie for taking me on this journey. We'll be back again next week, but make sure all of you keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and have confidence in the direction you're going. In the words of a certain cartoon fish, you just got to keep swimming. Just keep swimming. And until next time, I wish you goodbye. Bye-bye now.
Bye.